Hello, everyone. As we're slowly approaching the end of the year, I wanted to leave you with a message of hope. Or, in any way, share with you the hope that I felt through various hopeful events this year. Every year, and I did the same this year, I write an article in the beginning of the year where I kind of sense into the energy of the year ahead, where I take the temperature of the energies that are present, how they will challenge us, how they will help us, how they will impact us. This year I did the same thing, and what I felt was that this was really the year of the blossoming of the rose. I called this the year of the rose also because it was a number 5 year, and the number 5 to me is very connected to the flower of Venus and its 5 petals, the rose of Venus. The number 5 also connects us to the quintessence. The quintessence, which is a concept that means the transcendence of the 5 senses. It doesn't mean negating our senses and connecting to something else. It means through our senses accessing a higher consciousness and a higher truth. So, this year, what was really important was to trust our senses, to be guided by our senses in a transcendent way, which means not just trusting what we see, what we hear firsthand, but always connecting our senses to a deeper feeling within. So, okay, this is what I'm seeing. This is what the outside world is reflecting to me. How is this making me feel within? This is the information I am hearing. I'm not just staying on the level of this information, but how is this information resonating with me within? We all have an inner compass of truth, of what corresponds to us and what doesn't. And it was very important to be able to find and trust that inner compass this year, to be able to navigate the chaos of the year. Chaos, I think, was the key word of this year. And a chaos that can be fertile, like the chaos that happens before birth, or that can throw us completely off balance. And to a large extent, our capacity to navigate the chaos depends on our connection to our inner compass and our connection to higher guidance, our faith, our capacity to trust something bigger than ourselves and to trust that we are being held by something without necessarily having to name that something. There are various events for me throughout this year that really confirmed this energy and this rebirth of the consciousness of the Divine Mother. Because, of course, through the work that I'm doing and the initiations, the Magdalene initiations that I'm sharing, I'm coming into contact with a lot of women and a lot of people who clearly feel the call of this energy, who want to connect deeper to it, who want to come closer to it, who want to open the door to Mary Magdalene and Mary in their lives. But what is behind that? Is it just knowing who these people were, what they shared? No, this whole movement is carried by a very deep conscious and unconscious desire of reconnecting to the Divine Mother. The first time I really felt this clicking into place this year was during the summer solstice, which was a very powerful moment in time. And I felt a universal clock tick into place and a mechanism change. And this is when I really felt and received the message, okay, this is it. We've now really switched into something else. What this something else was, I didn't know yet. It's slowly revealing itself, as always. A couple of weeks later, after the summer solstice, a crop circle appeared in the region where I live in England, in Glastonbury. I live in a region where there are lots of crop circles during the summer. If you don't know what a crop circle is, It's an image imprinted in a field of grain or maize. During the night, we don't know what is causing this. There are different theories about it. Some people say it's extraterrestrial activities. Other people say it's imprints of consciousness. There's a lot of different theories. The fact is, a lot of people go there because they sense there's a certain energy in these crop circles. Well, around the 14th of July, a crop circle appeared in Avebury, next to the stone circle of Avebury, which is one of the largest, most important, most powerful stone circles of the UK, and which really carries an imprint and an information of divine coupling of fertility and birth. So it was significant for me that this crop circle appeared right next to this stone circle. It was a hexagonal circle, and inside of the structure of the hexagonal structure was a counterclockwise spiral. So I went there with two friends. We went into the crop circle, we walked around a little bit, we sat in the circle, there were some other people. And when we were sitting in the circle, we started to meditate, to connect deeper to the energy and sense into what the energy of this circle was. As soon as we started meditating, the weather completely changed. So the sky was open. It was a bit of a rainy day before, but at that moment the sky was open, there was no wind. It was pretty warm while it was in the middle of July. All of a sudden, the sky is completely covered with black clouds. A very strong wind lifted, like instantaneously at the same moment as the clouds. A very strong wind lifted. The trees around the field were literally shaking, and rain started pouring down. And so, of course, the other people in the crop circle ran for cover and went out of the crop circle, but this was when it really activated. What I felt was a very powerful womb activation. The most powerful womb activation actually that I felt in my life, and I do a lot of womb practices. It's part of my daily practice, and it's part of what I practice in my connection with Mary Magdalene. So we were sitting there, this womb activation was happening. I could feel very powerful light codes coming in. The message that accompanied this very strong energetic download was, okay, this is it. Humanity is now preparing and is now ready to birth the new. And it is something that I have seen. The children, the babies that are now being born are such high frequency children. I've witnessed, and I'm still witnessing, women who have in part miraculous birth processes because of the way in which they got pregnant, because of the way in which the pregnancy happens. There are lots of miraculous and mysterious happenings around many pregnancies of conscious women today. My friends who were in the circle with me felt the same. When we shared afterwards, they had a very strong womb activation as well. And the rain was still pouring after our meditation. I finally got my umbrella out. Of course, it was too late. But we also brought some holy water. My friend brought some holy water, and we decided to pour some holy water in the center of this circle with a blessing for the land. When I poured the holy water in the center and I placed the blessing, immediately, as soon as the water was in the center, the crazy weather stopped. Like the clouds parted, the wind stopped, and the rain stopped as well, of course. So these events always show me that there is a higher power at work, that what we do and the work that we do with intention really has an impact, not only on ourselves, but on our environment as well. we went out of the crop circle, and the weeks, the months that followed, I felt a lot of miraculous things happening. Now, the energy of the miraculous and the unexpected is something that has always been with me, and something that I've experienced over the last 10 years more intensely since I consciously chose a spiritual path. But this year it really amped up, and there's a lot more miraculous things happening. And also, for me, this is the main reason why I can't engage in any of the mainstream narrative that is happening, because there's all the fears that are being played into are just not present in my structure, in my body, in my life. So I can't engage with something that proposes a solution for a fear that is not present within. And this is because I have experienced the miraculous in my life, in different situations, and in my body, in my flesh. So it's a key. This energy of the miraculous is there for everyone. And it's a key, really, in our time and in our era to move forward in a harmonious way. Another event that really marked me this year, and that really confirmed this energy of the spiral and the miraculous, like something was shifting. This was the message: something is shifting and something is changing in your world. Was when I went to the Chartres Cathedral in France, which is, of course, one of the main shrines to Mother Mary, built on a very sacred place, built on a holy spring. So the energy of the Divine Mother has been worshipped there for thousands of years. This cathedral is built on top of this ancient shrine to the Divine Mother. So her energy is very present there. And the master builders of this Gothic cathedral built the labyrinth, the Chartres labyrinth, inside of this cathedral. And I walked this labyrinth with a whole group of Magdalenes with who I was doing an initiation. And I let my group walk the labyrinth before, and there were other people in the labyrinth. And when I walked the labyrinth, I really had a very powerful vision of the ceiling of the cathedral opening to a very beautiful night sky. And I could see the planets and the stars moving like this huge mechanism and universal clock. And as I was seeing and sensing all of this, at a certain point, I could feel the mechanism stop. And very clearly, this mechanism was activated by the labyrinth and by the people walking the labyrinth. The mechanism stopped, it clicked into place, and it started turning in a different direction. It started turning counterclockwise again. The message of this was that this was the spiral of the Divine Mother, and that we had now entered into the energy and the spiral of the Divine Mother. Now, what does this mean? It means that until now, humanity has been in a spiral of experiencing materialism, experiencing limitation and contraction. We've been in a contracting spiral. And we're now again starting an expansive spiral, an expanding spiral. It means that we're again accessing and entering into the flow of the Divine Mother. It's as if she, this year, really decided to step in. She's been present always, but she started to really materially interfere into our material reality. It's as if she took a big spoon and she stirred the cauldron and she stirred it in the other direction, because she was like, okay, this is enough. Enough is enough. You are now coming back home. I'm calling you back home. She's calling her children back home. And she's asking us to enter again into this spiral of harmony. What does it mean to enter into the spiral of the Divine Mother? It means honoring the cycles of life. Of course, I have roots in the Druid tradition, so I honor the Druid festivals of the year. I honor the seasons. This is something that anyone can do, that you all can do, whatever your spiritual practice or not spiritual practice is. It makes sense to synchronize your life with the seasons, with the cycles. As a woman, it is important to listen to your moon cycles, to the cycles of your body. Men and women, humanity should really synchronize their lives with the rhythm of Mother Nature. Entering into the flow of the Divine Mother and entering into the consciousness of the Divine Mother means honoring life, means honoring the frequency of life. And this is something that it goes in contrast in a certain way with everything that is happening. We are living in a world that celebrates a very morbid energy. We fear life. We don't trust life. We don't trust the energy of life. We don't trust nature. We don't trust our natural ways, and we are doing everything and anything to limit nature and to show that we mistrust her. And by mistrusting nature, we mistrust nature within, we mistrust the divine within, and we negate the Divine Mother within. And of course, this whole energy, this energetic imprint that is changing, like literally, I felt when I walked into the crop circle, my inner matrix, my inner structure change. And this is happening on a collective level as well. Our imprint is changing. The imprint of our reality is changing, and is the imprint that is emerging is the one of the rose, is an imprint of harmony. We're going back to harmony. And of course, this also plays into the Cathar prophecies, which said that in the year 2021 there would be a reflourishing of the Cathar faith, or the Church of Love. And the Church of Love is a church that doesn't have any buildings, that doesn't have any dogma, that doesn't exclude anyone, that it's a church based on the heart. It's a spirituality based on the heart that doesn't exclude anyone. And its members don't try to defend their faith. They don't try to enroll other people into their faith. They just beam the frequency of love and the frequency of unity. They recognize that there's a universal truth that is present anywhere and everywhere. As soon as we are rooted in nature and our spirituality is rooted in the laws of nature, and we have a connection to a higher self, a higher power, we allow the Divine Mother to come through, there are certain universal truths that are manifested everywhere. So to me, I've really received proof of this year, that the consciousness of the Divine Mother is awakening on this planet. And this is very good news. This is very good news, because we cannot live in the consciousness of the Divine Mother. We cannot honor her without honoring all forms of life, without being really rooted in our natural ways, and at the same time opening ourselves up to a spiritual connection, to a mystical connection. And when we are in that consciousness, it makes no sense anymore to compete with other beliefs, with other faiths. There's not one truth on this planet. There are as many truths as there are people. And I really believe that the Mother is guiding us to open ourselves up to this consciousness, where every person has their own beliefs, has their own truth, And we all can experience these in the way that we wish to experience them. So we're going towards a much more diverse and exciting reality in my eyes.